Hello, everybody. Today we are going to take a look at the top 10 destinations you can visit from the American Civil War located around these great United States that we live in. Number 1. Harpers Ferry National Historical Park, Harpers Ferry, West Virginia. Harpers Ferry is the home to the Battle of Harpers Ferry, and the National Historical Park includes the entire town. It's located in a beautiful setting. It's also nearby the Harpers Ferry Armory, which John Brown raided in 1859 as an act of protest against slavery. It was eventually taken from his control, and now this is just a great place to visit that pertains to the American Civil War. Number 2. The H.L. Hundley Museum, otherwise known as Friends of the Hundley, Charleston, South Carolina. The H.L. Hundley was used in the Civil War, and it's actually the first ever successful submarine mission ever used. It was a super small submarine, didn't hold very many people, and this is its first battle. It took on the HSS Housatonic with a torpedo. It sunk the ship, but mysteriously all of the people inside the vessel died, so it's been a crazy mystery. Number 3. Pickett's Mill Battlefield Historical Site, located in Georgia. This is home to the Battle of Pickett's Mill, which was a very pivotal battle in the Civil War, located closely nearby Atlanta, part of Sherman's March to the Sea. This would be a super cool place to visit because all of the battlefield is preserved, and it's a great place to go if you want to experience American history. Number 4. The Confederate Capitol, otherwise known as the Virginia State Capitol Building, Richmond, Virginia. This was the home of the Confederate Capitol, and this is what it looked like back during the Civil War when Jefferson Davis was in office. Jefferson Davis stayed there for most of the war and swore that he would never give up the city, but eventually he did end up having to leave Richmond as the Union Army took control of the city. Number 5. Vicksburg, Mississippi. This city is home to one of the most important battles in all of the Civil War, considered one of the wars that ended the Civil War, the other being Gettysburg, which we'll look at in a minute. But Vicksburg was put under siege by the Union Army, and it forced the Confederates to surrender. Number 6. Appomattox Courthouse, Appomattox, Virginia. Appomattox Courthouse was the site of the Confederate surrender in 1865. The man who owned the house actually ran away from Manassas, Virginia to escape the fighting, and the war ended in his own home. Crazy, huh? General E. Lee surrendered to Ulysses S. Grant, and that ended the Civil War. Speaking of Manassas Battlefield, next up, Manassas Battlefield Park, Bull Run. The First Battle of Bull Run was the first major land battle in the Civil War. The first shots were fired at Fort Sumter, but this was the first major land battle. As we mentioned previously, a man moved away, and the war ended in his house. But Bull Run was a big win for the Confederates, and it really set the stage for the whole war. Next up, Antietam National Battlefield Park, Antietam, Maryland. Antietam was the first time that Robert E. Lee brought his Confederate army onto Union soil to play offense. For most of the war prior, they had been playing defense, just trying to keep the Union out. But when he took his Confederate army up to Antietam, they suffered a brutal loss. Our second to last destination is Gettysburg, home of probably the most famous battle and the most famous speech from the Civil War era. Gettysburg National Battlefield Park is very well preserved, and it looks very much like what it did back when the battle took place there, which This battle almost ended the Civil War entirely. And finally, number 10, Fort Sumter National Monument and Park, Charleston, South Carolina. We've talked about Fort Sumter a little bit earlier, but Fort Sumter was where the first shots were fired in the war, and the National Park Service has done just an excellent job preserving the grounds. And it's a great place to visit if you want some history on the beginning of the Civil War and just the Civil War in general. And it's a great stop to make if you're in the Charleston area. Thank you all for taking a look today at our top 10 destinations that you can visit from the Civil War. Hopefully you and your family can make it out to see all of these great destinations sometime here located in these great United States.